I'm Matt Soule, principal at Cherry Park Elementary School.
What are you most excited about this year?
So many things. I think first and foremost, just reconnecting with our community. Our school really is the hub of our community. We have a lot of partnerships and opportunities for our students and our community here at Cherry Park, whether it be our partnership with Multnomah Family Services and our SUN program, or our amazing LEAP preschool, our community outreach partnerships with Urban Gleaners and Oregon Food Bank. Our school really is the hub of our community, and just the interactions, the positive relationships we have in our community, it was really missed during the pandemic. And so just reconnecting with everybody and reestablishing those positive relationships and getting everybody back on track is really exciting to me.
How do you encompass equity as a leader?
You know, when we really are putting equity at our forefront and being the leader of our community, it really starts inward first. Really being reflective of myself, examining those implicit biases, examining my upbringing and how I came to be the person I am, and how that may or may not be how I want to align myself as a leader of our community. And so just being really reflective of that and examining those things, and ultimately being vulnerable and sharing those reflections and sharing that journey with my community. By modeling vulnerability and allowing other people to kind of see that, you know, nobody's perfect. We all have backgrounds and stories that define and shape us into who we are, and it's pretty atrocious, some of the things that I witnessed and was aware of as a child, and I'm appalled by that now. And if it wasn't for making equity a real priority for our community and for our city and our district, I don't think I would have discovered those things. And so acknowledging that, and just acknowledging that it's not easy, and that it's not a nice, neat little package, and it's just something we do. But, you know, really owning the fact that it's difficult, and you know, and because it's difficult, just means that it's even more important. So just, you know, starting inward with that, being vulnerable, being reflective, and then taking equity and just putting it at the forefront of what we're doing with our decision making, our systems and structures here at school, and how it's impacting all components.
How do you include the David Douglas School District equity lens when making building-wide decisions?
So yeah, as I said before, just putting it at the forefront of our decision making, making sure that our decisions are aligning with our equity plan, with our school improvement plan, with our culturally responsive teaching strategies that we've adopted. You know, ultimately, all of our decisions need to positively impact student achievement. And it's not just the achievement of some, but it's the achievement of all students. We meet every student where they are, and we grow them from where they are. And it's not just our students, but it's also our community and our staff members. And so when we make equitable decisions, it's really trying to individualize things as best as possible, and making sure that our decisions positively impact our whole community. And so as long as our decision making is closing those disparities amongst our population, we're headed in the right direction. That's why it's so important to be reflective, and also to use multiple data sources when we're looking. We want a clear picture of how our systems and structures are benefiting our students. And if they're not, then it gives us a clear target on what we need to resolve or mitigate.
What does a racially affirming school environment look like?
We want our students and our families to be able to personally identify what's being taught and utilized at school. So not just with our instruction, but with our social emotional learning, with our activities and our enrichment, our parent involvement. People want to be able to personally identify with what's going on at school. It shouldn't be this foreign, strange thing that you go and do, but it really should be reflective of our school community. And so with that, there needs to be things that people are able to access. So, our content needs to have multiple access points. It needs to represent our students' stories and their cultural values. The more easily we can make things accessible to them, the quicker they're going to understand the content and be able to grow and succeed. And then utilizing our culturally responsive teaching strategies. Like this year, we're really focused on students' real life stories. So when we're looking at students' real life experiences, it's not just our instructional strategies that need to match that to give them the access points that they need, but also our materials. So when we're adopting materials, like with our new English language adoption that we're doing right now, that also, it's imperative that that's aligned with our community. Kids need to see themselves reflected in that content. So again, it's not that foreign concept, but it really is reflective of who they are. That's gonna further accelerate their learning.
What is your equity stance?
My equity stance is that all students deserve a high quality education and that all students are capable of learning, growing, and succeeding. And it's our responsibility to individualize things so that we can make that possible for them. Making sure that our content has multiple access points, making sure that we're honoring students as learners so that they can display their learning and communicate their thoughts and display their learning, communicate their thinking and understanding in multiple ways. It's not just equitable, it's good teaching. And it's not just gonna help our minorities or our populations, but it's gonna help all students. And so ultimately, it just makes sense as an educator and as a leader.
How will you use data to ensure equitable outcomes for students?
It starts with an honest conversation with your school team, and it's examining that equation. What's leading up to this outcome, and how do we need to change it? Is it a cultural shift? Is it really examining who we're identifying as problematic and why? Is it an instructional shift? Are we not supporting a variety of our students with our instructional strategies that are conducive to their learning? Or is it, we really want to be reflective of our school community, and if our school community norms and values are completely different of, the dominant perspective of our school staff's thoughts and feelings, then again, that's an opportunity to have a conversation and think about how we can change things.
What equity practices do you hope to see in every classroom?
That's a great question. Thinking and learning is what we're doing here. I mean, growing students where they are in all facets. So not just academics, but social, emotional as well. We really want to address that whole child. So when I walk into a classroom, I want to see a variety of things. I want to see students engaged in discourse, communicating about their thinking and learning, in a multiple ways, because not everybody is an oral thinker and oral processor. I want to see our teachers really utilizing our culturally responsive teaching strategies and how those are being implemented amongst all of our grade levels. I want to see students engage with each other and talking about what the content is, not necessarily just coming from the educator. I want to see learning activities that are reflective of our community, things that kids can relate to. I want to see their stories and their families' cultural beliefs represented in their learning. Again, it can't be this foreign concept. School can't be this place that you go and not be able to relate or connect to. So when I walk through, I see kids of all different racial makeups and backgrounds, interacting positively with each other and learning from each other and not knowing any different, and really embracing each other's differences and just the richness that comes from that and what better people they're going to be in the long run because of that.
As you self-reflect on your spring and summer hiring practices, share your efforts and outcomes to diversify your school for both classified and certified positions.
It's a big priority for us. So looking at our hiring processes, we really want our school community to be reflective of our larger community. So our school staff community to be reflective of our larger school community. And with that, this last year really did have a lot of heavy recruiting within our community. We have multiple staff members who have children who attend Cherry Park, or they have a family member who is an employee of David Douglas. And so it's just really tapping into our community, people who are really invested in our school and want it to be successful and a positive place for not only their kids, but for the children in their neighborhood. Because of that, we've been able to hire multiple people, like I said, that are connected to our school community. And that alone has really diversified our staff. And it's something that we'll continue to do amongst just recruiting on a broader range. Really accessing all avenues. So we talk about with teaching and learning having multiple access points. We can't just rely on one source to recruit our staff. Not everybody's gonna take that channel. So just utilizing any means possible to recruit staff and on multiple platforms. I'm Matt Soule, principal at Cherry Park Elementary School, and I believe in equity.